From the outside, you seem settled, composed, functioning. You do what needs to be done. You show up. You handle it. Bills are paid, deadlines met, situations contained. Nothing appears broken. And that's where the distance begins. Because when everything works, no one checks what it costs. Your phone rings when someone needs clarity, or grounding, or strength. It rings when you are useful. But when the noise fades, when the day finally slows, there's a quiet moment. And in that moment, there's no one to call. Not because you don't know people, but because you learned early on how to stand alone, how not to ask, how not to lean, how to keep moving even when something inside you feels depleted. You built a fortress to keep pain out. It worked. And slowly, it kept everything else out too. This isn't dramatic loneliness. It's muted, contained, the loneliness of being capable and quietly unseen. What's happening here has a name. Not pride, not coldness, not emotional distance. It's hyper-independence, a pattern learned when relying on others didn't feel safe. Support may have been inconsistent, conditional, absent at the moments it mattered most, so the system adjusted. You didn't just grow older, you became self-sufficient ahead of time. You learned to regulate yourself, reassure yourself, contain yourself. Needing someone felt unstable, risky, like stepping onto ground that might give way. So, quietly, a rule formed. I'll handle it. At first, that rule protected you. It made you capable, reliable, unshakable. People noticed, they admired it, they called you strong. But survival strategies don't dissolve once danger passes. They remain. The walls that blocked disappointment also blocked closeness. There's a cost to becoming the strong one. It's rarely named. Your worth begins to feel functional, attached to output, to availability. You're valued for what you provide, not for who you are when you hesitate, or doubt, or tire. You're the rock, the anchor, the one who holds things together. And anchors aren't held, they're depended on. So you carry weight that isn't yours, consistently. And somewhere underneath, a quiet question persists. If I stop being useful, do I still belong? It's not a question you ask out loud. It barely reaches language. Instead, you keep going, fixing, stabilizing. Until something subtle happens. You're not isolated, you're surrounded. Yet internally, there's distance. Because the parts of you that struggle were never invited forward, and over time, you stopped offering them. This isn't loneliness from lack of connection. It's built into the role, reinforced each time you say, I've got it, when what you mean is, I'm already carrying too much. Capability has gravity. It draws people who need structure, certainty, direction. Your steadiness feels like safety to those who don't have it. At first, being needed feels grounding, but the exchange is rarely equal. You give energy, they receive reassurance. You offer presence, they offer recognition. Support, when it comes back, is thin. And when someone turns toward you, really turns, something tightens. Because receiving feels unfamiliar, exposing, almost incorrect. Care wasn't something you practiced resting in. It was something you learned to function without, so offers are deflected, downplayed, redirected. I'm fine. It's manageable. I'll deal with it, not from disinterest, from conditioning. Closeness requires a softness you were never trained to sustain. There isn't a dramatic solution here. No transformation, no sudden openness, only a small internal shift. Not toward neediness, toward permeability. Strength doesn't have to mean sealed, it can mean responsive. You don't have to fall apart to be allowed support. You don't have to justify rest with exhaustion. The work is subtle, allowing presence without productivity, letting uncertainty exist without immediately resolving it, noticing the impulse to hold everything alone, and pausing there. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's exposure. And exposure feels dangerous when armor kept you alive, so discomfort makes sense. It doesn't mean you're wrong, it means you're unfamiliar. There's another way of relating, one where connection isn't earned through usefulness, where you can be near someone without carrying them. One truth sits underneath all of this. You don't have to carry it all. If something in this felt recognizable, you don't need to explain it. If you want a quiet marker, a signal to yourself, you can comment, "I am open," not as a declaration, not as an answer, just as a pause, a small opening. If this analysis seemed familiar to you, leave a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and if you're ready to understand the hidden parts of your own mind, subscribe to the Psyche Archive. Welcome home.